Hello Ian, we're going to do your demo here in 3 different parts, one being the Tohatsu kicker engine, the next being the actual Evinrude, the main power, and then I was going to go over and do a brief description on the cluster and how the Lowrance and how it attaches to the I-command. The actual little boat motor here, as you can tell, it is strapped down the tank. I know you want it strapped so it wasn't going to move anywhere. There is a vent on top of the tank here. The vent has to be loose before the engine will run. Well, it actually will run, but it actually siphons the tank down and creates a bit of a raising effect. So what to do is make sure that cap is loose before you operate. When you're under power with the big motor, it's a good idea to tighten that cap just so you don't have gas spillage, but when you're stopped at the dock again, release it because the tank will try to expand and inflate in the actual sun. To get it going, you want to make sure your gas line is connected. Now the gas line itself has a normal hole for the actual connector piece, and then the main part here where the fuel travels through, and you can see on here where it goes. When it goes in, it does a click when it goes in. Prime the ball up so it's good and snug. And you come up to the front. In here, you have a neutral warm-up. You can raise the lever up here to rev it up in cold idle. Turn the key to the on position, push it in, and turn it over. Okay. Once it starts, make sure you grab the lever and pull it back. If it is cold out and running, you can reapply the choke even when it's running. So you could just sit here with the key, push in, it will choke it and cause it to run a little bit richer, just for colder operations. Okay. To shift it, there is a red lever in behind here that you pull up on. When you pull up, click it forward, makes you go forward, pull back in the neutral position, and then you can click it into reverse. To shift it, this has to be down all the way. You can't have it revved up at all, so make sure that is all the way down, motor's fully warmed up, then you shift it in and out of gear. There is a telltale on the side of the engine. Make sure it is pumping water at all times that it's running, and make sure it's down. You do also have the trim option right here, where you can trim the outboard up and down on the handle. There's also a trim button right here in front of the engine that you can trim it up and down. Okay. If I shut it off, I'm just going to move this a little bit closer to the wall here again. If I shut it off, the engine cap on the back has a latch. The very back of it, if you pop that up, the cap then just rocks right off the front of the motor. Underneath there is a fuse under here for the start system, so if you turn the key it does nothing, and of course your battery switches on and it still is not working, check the fuse. The other thing is on these, on the far side over here, there's a little dipstick. This is what it looks like. Got a yellow handle and it has a run zone in it. That's the add line, that's the full line, and there's X's in between. The engine oil right now, of course, is brand new, so it's nice and clean. It's very hard to see. Make sure it does stay topped up because it will burn a little bit of oil as it breaks in and the rings actually seat to the cylinder wall. It then just clips back in over on the side over here. When it is low, oil goes in the back here. There's a cap we unscrew, and it's also color-coded yellow. And oil just goes right in there. Oil requirements on this, it's a good idea. They call for 530, but for where you are, you're running in a little more extreme temperatures, as in water temperatures can be a lot colder. It's probably a better idea to run 1030. 1030 works better for a multitude of temperatures. They work better in the hot temperatures and cold temperatures. Spark plugs in it are just on the side over here. There is a listing here, NGK DCPR6E. Any of your automotive shops like an Ideal or CarQuest Supply, or even if you have a Canadian Tire locally, you should be able to get spark plugs there, no problem. Those maybe replace every other year or so. When you do break the engine in, on the other side of the engine down here, on this side, which you can't see, there's a bolt. After the engine's fully broke in, what to do is change the oil in it. To do that, you got to take the bolt out on this side. All the oil will drain out, put it in a tray. Now make sure you do that on your driveway or somewhere that if any oil drips, you're not dripping it in the water. Collect all the oil, make sure you dispose of it. Most automotive shops will take it, and then refill the engine oil from here with fresh oil. There is no filter on these per se. The filter's actually in the crankcase area. You cannot change it on these. So as long as you change the engine oil, that should be done definitely after 10 hours. Besides that, doesn't need much more. Okay, 10 hours again, make sure you change your lower unit oil as well. You want to make sure you get all the metal filings not only out of the engine, but out of the lower unit. and on this guy, which we'll go over as well. So a 10-hour period, make sure you change the lower unit oil on that. They say this does not need any service for the first 3 years, which is fine. Definitely do the lower unit oil though, because after 3 years it has no more warranty, as in you pay for that kind of stuff. So make sure that the oil is changed. And the other thing is, within 3 years you might want to put set spark plugs in it, because after the break-in period it does run rich automatically to break it in, and then from there it'll actually should have some spark plugs changed. Besides that, this is the little guy. When you're up and running and driving the boat, you should trim it right up. That way it comes right up out of the water. It's not dragging in the water at all. The steering linkage, it does not hurt to trim it up and leave this one down. We use a new style system, which is, a stainless steel cable that goes through. I don't think you'll have any problems with that. Alright, if you want to click off on that one.